What kind of cooking oil should we be using on a day-to-day basis is probably the most asked question and has probably the most confusing answer to it. One expert will say that oils containing mono and polyunsaturated fats are the healthiest for us, while the other one will say that saturated fats are God's gift to mankind. In this video, I'll walk you through the key principles so that you're able to decide the healthiest oil for yourself. If you look at the oils available in the market, they're essentially of two types. The type 1 is a cold pressed oil and the type 2 is a refined oil. Cold pressed oils are prepared when the seeds or the fruits are crushed and oil is extracted from them at almost room temperature. Some of the examples being your coconut oil, your mustard oil, your sesame oil, your olive oil. The refined versions of the same oil are prepared when the oils are heated at a high temperature and there are some chemical treatments which are done on them so that their smoke point increases, their longevity increases, and they develop a bit of neutral flavor. In India, these oils are fortified by vitamin D, E, and K as well. Some of the examples being refined sunflower oil, refined olive oil, refined groundnut oil. Now, when it comes to choosing the best oil for daily use, we have to understand three key principles. Principle number 1 is a principle of calories. No matter how healthy any oil is, fats are the most calorie dense macros that we have. Hence, it is very easy for us to consume a lot of calories in the form of fat, which will then lead to a lot of health problems. So the first thing we have to keep in mind is the amount of calories which is coming from fats in our diet. The recommended dose for a sedentary person is around 500 ml per month, which comes down to 1 tablespoon of oil every single day. An active individual can of course aim for a higher amount of calories from fat. So if you limit your intake to 1 tablespoon per day, you would be able to meet the nutritional requirement without exceeding on the calorie front. But you can exceed this amount very easily by including a lot of deep fried food in your regular diet or by cooking your food in high amount of oil every single day. The second principle that we have to understand is cooking temperature. We consume oils broadly in three formats. We consume them raw in the form of salads. We consume them in the form of stir fry, which would be our regular Indian curries. And we consume them in the form of deep fried foods, which will be your puri, samosa, jalebi, etc. Not all oils are suitable for all kinds of cooking. This is because every oil has a different smoke point. Smoke point is the temperature at which the oil starts burning. The smoke point usually for refined oils and ghee is much higher, while that for cold pressed oil is usually lower. As you can see from the table, mustard oil has a smoke point of 250 degree both for refined as well as cold pressed version, while peanut oil has a smoke point of 232 degrees centigrade, the cold pressed version having a smoke point between 160 to 180. Similarly, for sesame, we see 232 for the refined version, 177 to 210 for the cold pressed version. For coconut, we see 232 for the refined version, while 177 to 200 for the cold pressed version. For olive oil, again, we see 240 degrees centigrade for the refined version, while it is 160 to 190 degrees centigrade for the cold pressed version. If you use a cold pressed oil, which has a low smoke point for cooking something at a high temperature, first thing you will notice is that smoke will start coming in. The second thing which will happen is that the oil will lose some of its nutritional value. And there is a possibility of some unhealthy compounds being created in this process. The flavor of the food will be lost as well in the process. Another thing that we have to consider when we are using oils is their taste. Not all oils are suitable for all kinds of dishes. For example, if you have a green salad and if you dress it with olive oil, it will taste really well. But you cannot use the same olive oil to prepare an Indian dish which is usually prepared in coconut or mustard oil. Since salads and stir frying is usually done at lower temperature, it is perfectly fine to use cold press oil here. But for deep frying, you have to pick up oils which can withstand high temperature, which from this example is mustard oil, ghee, and various refined oils. The third key concept that we have to understand here is the macro composition of these oils. All of these oils are made from 4 kinds of fats. These fats are trans fat, monounsaturated fat, polyunsaturated fat, and saturated fat. As you can see from the table, the percentage of monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, saturated fat varies between all of these oils and ghee. Ghee and coconut oil being higher on the saturated fat side, while mustard, peanut, sesame, olive being higher on the poly and monounsaturated fat side. The percentage of trans fat in each of these oils and ghee is very, very small. Now let's look at the impact of each of these fat types on our health. Multiple studies highlight the fact that trans fat have a key role to play in cardiovascular diseases, which is why it is banned in many countries. India has put a cap of 2% on all industrially manufactured fats and aims to bring it down to 0 in the next coming years. As a practice, you should read the label of the oils that you're purchasing from the market so that you can avoid the oils and the food items which have trans fat in them. Vanaspati ghee has trans fat and should be avoided. Also, when we reuse oils which are high in monounsaturated fats, especially by cooking them at very high temperatures again and again, there is some amount of trans fat which gets created in the process. Saturated fats is a bit of confusing territory. On one hand, there are some papers mentioning that saturated fats can lead to increased cholesterol levels and hence cardiovascular diseases. On the other hand, there are studies which say that saturated fat from ghee and coconut oil are very good for our health. For example, research says that coconut oil has MCTs, which is medium chain triglycerides, which is said to improve our cognitive ability and help with weight management. And ghee is rich in butyric acid, which helps improve immunity beside many other health benefits. My suggestion here is to consume saturated fats in moderation. As per American Heart Association, as per WHO, as per the dietary guidelines of America, we should not be consuming more than 10% of our calories from saturated fat. For an average individual will come down to 200 calories, which if you calculate will come down to 1 tablespoon per day, which roughly aligns with the recommended oil dosage of 500 ml per month for a sedentary person. And finally, there is mono and polyunsaturated fat. These fats are considered healthy dietary fats with a lot of benefits. And olive oil is the king of this category, probably because of the excellent marketing that European Union has done for olive oil. If you look at the table, our Indian mustard, peanut, sesame oils are also rich in mono and polyunsaturated fats. Basis all the research, basis all the content on the internet, it is difficult to conclude if mono and polyunsaturated fat are the best form of fat on the planet, because many of these reports are influenced by the industries itself. So the best thing to do here again is to consume within limits. So to summarize, the oil you should be avoiding is the one which is high in trans fat. Saturated, mono and polyunsaturated fats all have their health benefits. Just don't overconsume them. Consume them in moderation. It is a good idea to have a mix of all of them in your diet while keeping the overall quantity less than 500 ml per month if you're a sedentary individual. If you're active, basis your calorific need, you can go a bit higher. If you use a mix of these oils, you'll be able to get all the health benefits while also enjoying the authentic flavor of every food item that you're having. To achieve this, you can use your favorite cold pressed oil in salads or wherever you're having it raw. You can use the same cold pressed oil for preparing something which is stir fried. And when it comes to deep frying, you can use mustard oil, refined oil or ghee for the purpose, or any other oil which has a high smoke point. If you're looking to stay fit and healthy, the best idea would be to not deep fry anything at home. Use an air fryer instead. Include these deep fried items in your low frequency cheat meals that you have outside. Hoping this helps. This is Vivek signing off. Like, subscribe, share, and take care.